Okay, YouTubers. So, first off, let me say this. I don't normally post a whole lot of videos, so if you see me bouncing around a little bit, I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I don't normally do this, but I felt this is something that needs to get out there. So, we have a 2008 M1097 AR variant of the two-door pickup Humvee. It's a surplus government planted purchase. I have two of them. I bought them at the same time. And here's what's going on. So this one I used on my farm, and it's been doing fine, no issues. Then all of a sudden one day it just would not shift out of either what's called low or second. It was kind of hard to tell, or limp mode. I'm not 100% sure which one it was. But here's what I did find. Okay, I went online, the normal thing, researching, reading, checking TikTok, checking YouTube, and there was several posts, but none of them directly corresponding to my problem. And where my problem lies is that you have these two lights right here. Let's see if we can get in here. You have these two lights right here, right? This is your lockup. This is your transmission light. So you have a transmission control module, which is located on the driver's side where the normal back seat would be under that cover, okay? If you put a jumper wire between terminals A and E after doing some reading and learning this, it's going to flash a code on that light right there. It's going to flash one dot and then two dots in a little bit more rapid succession. Then it's going to flash whatever stored code DTC is in that computer system. Then it's going to go back and flash one dot and two dots three times to let you know that the cycle's complete. Okay? Problem was I was getting no codes. Zero. Zip, nada. It was just flashing 1, 2, and then would go back to 1, 2. Okay, so not a whole lot out there on that topic. With that, I did some more reading. I actually found the wiring schematics for this thing and the government issued troubleshooting guide and repair and maintenance manual for this thing and started reading through that. So I was like, man, ain't no way the transmission's bad. There's no way. It was shifting just fine, and then all of a sudden this happens. So what I did find was, simply put, the breaker that is located behind the passenger seat, which is a 15 amp push button breaker, and then there's a relay right next to that. Those tested out fine. The shift solenoids tested out fine. Tracing the wires back, this thing goes all the way up to the throttle positioning sensor, which is located on the passenger side of the injector pump. Now, I don't know what college-educated electrical engineer in his infinite wisdom designed this to do a split DC voltage system, 24 volts to operate the lights, turn signals, blah, 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 engine control module, yada, yada, and then jump it down or reduce it to 12 volts to run the TCM. I'm not sure why we could not design a TCM that does 24 volts, but that's whether here or there, it's above my pay grade. So what they did was they went off of one battery and tied in the TCM to give it the 12 volts. Even though it's a 24 volt system, they only utilized one battery to go to the breaker, then to the relay, then to the TCM, and then to the transmission. Again, that's kind of like a stupid move, but that's my opinion. It doesn't really matter for much. Back to where the problem lies. After tracing all this out and having no DTC codes, put my meter on things and followed it all the way up to the throttle positioning switch, which is nothing more than a potentiometer, and it has a flat dead spot in it, and it was hung there. Once I disconnected that, I was curious, so I put it in gear and drove it around. Shifted fine. Now, it's sluggish. It doesn't have the power that it used to have. And that's fine. I understand that because that's what controls the lockup for the torque converter and blah, 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 and so on. But if you go straight to the throttle positioning switch and disconnect it, if you're having this problem, and disconnect it and drive it, and it shifts and everything works, your transmission is most likely just fine. The problem is electrical, and it's most likely going to be in that system. You can break that down by reading that manual and following the tests and checks for the throttle positioning sensor. I'm not going to get into that for 120 bucks. I'm just going to buy another one and put in it and be done with this issue. I use this thing quite a bit, as you can see with the mud on the tires. I use it quite a bit around on my farm, so I'm good with it. Hopefully this helps somebody else who cannot find the information that I couldn't find and had to do the homework. So hopefully I can pass this along and somebody else can utilize it and troubleshoot their problems. That's where the problem lies. Now, what I don't know is a little side note here. What I don't know if that's a positive or a negative potentiometer. In other words, does it use ground or does it use current? And when I get an opportunity, I'm going to sit down and finish reading that, and I'll be able to figure that out. I have the wiring diagram for this thing. It's a pretty comprehensive breakdown of all the wires in these things. I'll share that with you in the link as well once I figure out how to do that. So hopefully this will help you YouTubers. Have a good day.